This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Gucci, some things we keep it on the low down. And she really loves secrets and love songs. Got some plans with a nigga, she gon' lose on. I can hit it right away. Oh yeah, this life's on us. Baby, I ain't playing, I ain't passing on. I can take the pressure for the both of us. She don't change, you got me
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, it never has and it never will. Anyways, how are you hanging out or doing this thing on Whip 'em Out Wednesday? Yes, because it is definitely Wednesday. Anyways, today's Wednesday, March the 22nd of 2023. Day numero 81, that's day 81 of the year, and only 284 days left to go. So, anyways, how has it been? How has the last little bit been for you? I will tell you, for me personally, pretty interesting night last night, that's for sure. I haven't done this in a very long time. And not that I'm into, like, plugging stuff in general, but I have to tell you, if you ever come down to Orlando and want to have a good time and see all kinds of interesting stuff, go to City Walk at Universal Studios and go to Rising Star. It is their karaoke bar that has all the information of what they do in regards of singing. But depending on the night that you go, they do have a live band that comes out and helps out sometimes in regards of what is going on. And it can definitely make it some entertainment time if you like people watching. So there you go. There's that. Anyway, so we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration in Radio Big is kind of the thing that we do. So we'll do some of that today. So let's talk about how the show works. In case you're new, we talk about safety in the news and safety, and then kind of tie it all in together into one big giant bow and go, here is our gift to you. That's kind of how the workout goes in regards of what we have going around inside of this jointo. If you want to interact with the show, it's kind of a simple process. In doing so, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. And then we kind of get moving and grooving from there. So that is no problemo whatsoever in that particular regards. So there you go. There you go. Some stuff going on right there. So let's start talking right away about what was trending inside of the world of the news and what the hell we have on tap.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so the AI wars heat up as the mischievous badgers wreak havoc on the Netherlands rail system. We'll talk a little bit about that. We get into the shit list. Also, former President Donald Trump has not been indicted yet. when he might appear in front of a judge. We'll talk a little bit about that if we decide to get a little swampy-umpy. Nevada brothels are offering their services for newly signed Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, and Nick Lachey has been ordered to attend anger management. We can talk a little bit about that. The last Lord of the Rings film is heading back into theaters, and We Were Liars is getting a series adaptation. So we can be all in the lookout for that as we are doing our stuff here. So let's bring in some pros and let them have you tell you a little bit about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news, because why in the hell would you not want to start off without the world of the news of what the hell is going on? Because listen, we try to keep it topical, but we definitely want to tell you about some things that are going on here, there, and everywhere, because who would want to do that? I mean, seriously, let's give that some thought. So let's go ahead and find out what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news. Let's not wait till later. Let's go ahead and do that right now, Zoe.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Former President Trump may have knowingly and deliberately misled his attorneys about classified documents in his possession after leaving office. ABC News reports that's what a former top federal judge wrote last week in a sealed filing. It adds that prosecutors in Special Counsel Jack Smith's office presented compelling preliminary evidence indicating potential criminal violations. Smith is leading the probe into Trump over the FBI's discovery of the materials during a search of his Florida estate last year. The former president has denied any wrongdoing in his handling of classified documents. China should tell Russia to pull its troops out of Ukraine if Beijing wants to play a role in ending the war.
Mr. Putin could stop bombing hospitals. He could stop bombing schools. He could stop launching Iranian drones into civilian infrastructure.
That's what National Security Council spokesman John Kirby told reporters. Kirby's remarks come as Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Vladimir Putin and signed agreements to deepen economic cooperation between their two countries. China has issued a proposal for ending the war in Ukraine, which includes no demands for Moscow to pull out its forces. Kirby said Russia must withdraw from all territory inside Ukraine under the rules of the UN Charter. NBA legend Willis Reed is dead at the age of 80. Brian Shook has more.
The New York Knicks mourned his passing in a post on Twitter. The team said Reed stood for many things, including leadership and work ethic. Reed won a championship with the Knicks in 1970 and a second one in 1973. In both title runs, Reed was named NBA Finals MVP, and he's best known for playing while injured in the 1970 NBA Finals. I'm Brian Shook.
And rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine is in the hospital after he was beaten by a group of men Tuesday evening. TMZ reports the attack occurred inside an LA Fitness in southern Florida as 6ix9ine was using the sauna. Police were called and he was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bunsen in Mumbai. A peace plan for Ukraine from China could be used as a basis to end the conflict, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said. Moscow has condemned British plans to send armor-piercing tank ammunition containing depleted uranium to Ukraine. America still waits to see whether former President Donald Trump will be arrested over an alleged hush money scandal in the lead-up to the 2016 election.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says failing to raise the nation's debt limit would be absolutely catastrophic.
Take an economy that is performing very well, and it would threaten all of that.
While speaking at the American Bankers Association summit in Washington, D.C., Yellen urged Congress to raise the debt ceiling promptly without conditions. She noted that when Congress waited until the last minute to do so in 2011, the U.S. credit rating was downgraded. Her remarks came as the Biden administration and Republicans appear to be at odds on a deal. House Republicans have demanded deep spending cuts in return for their votes. The family of Ivo Otieno is speaking out after security video of what eventually led to his death was released in Virginia. Otieno's mother, Carolyn Uko, was among those who joined high-profile attorney Ben Crump on Tuesday.
I hope that with my team beside me, we will achieve justice for Ivo Otieno.
Uko said she was happy to hear the 7 sheriff's deputies and 3 hospital employees charged in her son's death were indicted. The majority of Californians are under some form of weather alert as another atmospheric river slams the state. On Tuesday, more than 35 million people were under weather alerts, and over 170,000 customers lost power. Several inches of rainfall are expected, especially across Southern California. Officials are worried the heavy rain will worsen flood conditions from the last atmospheric river, which ended just days ago. The death of a teenager found near Alex Murdaugh's home is now being investigated as a homicide. In 2015, Stephen Smith was found dead on a rural road about 15 miles from Murdaugh's home. An autopsy reports Smith died as a result of being struck by a vehicle, but his family does not believe it was a hit and run. Authorities began looking into his death again after gathering evidence during the double murder investigation of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. And Japan has claimed its first World Baseball Classic title since 2009. They defeated the United States 3-2 in Miami on Tuesday night for the third WBC title in the fifth ever Classic. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Yeah, from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that Mommy and Daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger, from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. show and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday, so make sure to do so because that's going to be an important factor into what we have going on today. So let's start talking right away about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the shit list because what else would we be doing around here? Anyway, so home sales have increased by 14.5% in February compared to January, making the largest month-over-month increase of the year. Well, I hope so, because it's only 2 months into it. As we're talking about those past track numbers, the spikes coincide with the first year-over-year decrease in home values, which ticked down about 0.2% in nearly 11 years. Worth noting, despite the increase in mortgage rates, the supply of homes for sale remains low relatively to demand, which is popping up the values of houses. So that does take a factor into it. So what do you think? I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and he was telling me, you have to look at what home values are. Even if your house is worth $1 million, where the hell are you going? Like, are you going to buy another house that's worth $1 million? Just hypothetical there. You have to look at it from that particular fashion. Where do you start going from that point? So, stuff to think about. Anyways, Google has rolled out its own chat-based artificial intelligence program called Bard on Tuesday. It functions similar to the acclaimed ChatGPT program. Users have to join a wait list in order to Bard out, if you get what I'm saying. Worth noting, a morning bar, so just worth noting is that we have actually joined the waiting list on Tuesday morning and granted access shortly thereafter. So don't expect erroneously long waits. Google is just properly metering access to be sure that the thing doesn't crash, which does make sense. Also, when queried about movies starring Tom Hanks, Bard did spit back answers that included titles like A Few Good Men and Hunt for Red October, so it still has a ways to go because Tom Hanks was not in those movies, just in case, as you are sitting back. Talking about the ChatGPT thing, ChatGPT level 3, when it did the SAT test, the SAT test, the level 3 scored a 1,200 and change. Supposedly, or allegedly, we will use allegedly, the 4.0 version did the SAT test and ended up scoring somewhere in the 1,400 range. As you know, or might not know, 1,600 is perfect. So there is still some area of improvement, but look at what the tech is doing right now.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Anyways, a study by NASA suggests that the Earth gets clobbered with giant space rocks more frequently than previously thought. The consensus among, astrophysicists is that other very smart people that lately been on 1 kilometer wide space rocks hits the Earth once every 600,000 to 700,000 years. The new study says that in the last million years, 4 such impact events have happened for the rate of 1 in about every 250,000 years. Science journal Science says that the assertion needs to be more on analysis than peer review. So there you go. I don't know. I'll put it to you this way. I don't care if it's at 500,000 or 250,000. That does not sound like a fun time, regardless on how you take a look at it. Anyways, there's been much speculation over the role of Jim Young Jr., daughter of Kim Joo-ao, that she's made more appearances with her father in the recent weeks. Radio Free Asia reports that North Koreans in particular aren't thrilled with the girl plump cheeks, suggesting that she's well-fed, while most of them are gaunt and have malnutrition. One of the insiders reports it says most people aren't able to eat properly, so their cheekbones stick out from their faces even more than even before. So I don't know. Some things to think about as we are hanging and banging. That is for sure. Anyways, burying badgers in the Netherlands have disrupted their train routes in some parts for at least the next week by digging up rail tracks. Trains can't safely cross until the borrowed parts are fixed. It gets worse. Since badgers are protected in the Netherlands, the train companies must first get permission to move the animals before beginning repairs. One affected company, ProRail, is no stranger to these situations. They even have to acknowledge that on their website. And it says something like this: living together with badgers can be a real puzzle. So, you know that's probably not what they wanted to write. They wanted to write something else, but, you can't put those things out there.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some book charts real quick, because, that's going to be important as we are hanging out on a Wednesday. So let's talk about... Oh, sorry. I did not mean to cough in your ear. That is the worst thing I can do. Let's talk about what is going on inside of the top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. If we're taking a look at the fiction category, coming in at number 5, Lessons in Chemistry. At number 4, Never Never. At number 3, It Ends With Us. At number 2, Daisy Jones and the Sex. And at number 1, It Starts With Us. If we're going into the nonfiction category, it sounds something like this: It's Okay to Be Angry About Capitalism. At number 4, I'm Glad My Mom Died. At number 3, The Body Keeps the Score. At number 2, The Courage to Be Free. I want to be free. And at the number 1 spot, it is Spare. So there you go. That's what's going on inside of that particular world, as we are talking in regards of everything that is happening. So let's talk about this. Former President Donald Trump lives to die another day, and not in handcuffs either. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg made no announcement on any kind on Wednesday. But wait, the Daily Mail reported on Tuesday afternoon that the announcement will be today, Wednesday, and that Bragg's office plans to work with the Secret Service to arrange for Trump's appearance before the judge at some time next week. Meanwhile, Governor Ron DeSantis, for the first time, publicly addressed the Trump that has addressed Trump and has hurled his way into an interview with Piers Morgan. DeSantis embraced the DeSantinism moniker Trump has used on the Truth Social to disparage the governor. I mean, you can call me whatever you want, just as long as you call me the winner, because that's what I've been able to do in Florida, and it puts a lot of points on the board, and it really take the state to the next level. This is what, according to what DeSantis says. Later, DeSantis shrugged off the social media vitriol general. It's not important for me to be fighting with people on social media. It's not accomplishing anything for people that I represent. So there you go. Worth noting, DeSantis still hasn't formally declared his intentions, but it does seem pretty certain that he will be running for to become the president of the United States. So we'll take a look and see what the hell happens there. Because listen, that's only assumptions at this particular point. And if we sit around and talk about politics all the time, who the hell knows what the hell will go on going forward? Anyways, let's bring in somebody who should be running for politics, and that's our own John Small, letting us know what the hell's going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, March 22nd, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets advanced Tuesday in hopes of further backstopping for the ailing bank industry. The news includes a deal of First Republic Bank and a push from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen to expand the FDIC. The S&P 500 gained over 1.25% on the news and regained the upper side of the 30-day moving average, a potentially bearish sign. The next hurdle for the market is today at 2:15. The FOMC will announce the next policy adjustment, which is expected to be a 25 basis point increase in interest rates. The risk for the market is the rhetoric, which is also expected to be firm. Inflation is not tamed despite the banking crisis and may not fall significantly unless the FOMC causes more weak economic links to fail. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information right there. Let me tell you what I was able to find on my little review right there. It goes something like this. The Dow added about 316 points to close at 32,560 on Tuesday. The S&P added about 51 points to close at 4,002, and the NASDAQ added about 184 points to close at 11,860. West Texas Intermediate closed at $69 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $75 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.43. Bitcoin was up again on Tuesday, trading just over $28,150. There was more than 3,440 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, with about 165 cancellations. And tonight's Powerball drawing will be for a $96 million jackpot, or a $15.1 million payout. So, I don't know. Do you play? Do you play the game? Do you look at it and go, yes, this is worth my while? Or do you go, no, I am not doing any of that stuff? I don't know. I look at it and go, it is worth whatever you want to do. I don't know. People play, and that's what you should do if you want to do that. If not, that's fine too. Anyway, so let's talk real quick about some things that are coming out of California real quick. The latest storm to slam Southern California prompted a rare tornado warning in Ventura County. Daniel Martindale has more.
The National Weather Service issued the tornado warning for central Ventura County and southwestern Los Angeles County on Tuesday night. It expired at about 8:30 p.m. Areas covered by the warning included Casa Conejo and Lake Sherwood, which are near Thousand Oaks, and Solramar, which is on the coast near Leo Carrillo State Park in Malibu. There are no reports of a tornado actually touching down. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that information right there, keeping us, 100. Should we talk a little bit more about this? The majority of Californians are under some kind of weather alert as another atmospheric river slams the state. Take a listen to what Mark Mayfield has to say.
On Tuesday, more than 35 million people were under weather alerts, and over 170,000 customers lost power. Several inches of rainfall are expected, especially across Southern California. Officials are worried the heavy rain will worsen flood conditions from the last atmospheric river, which ended just days ago. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that one. Take a listen to this. A federal court hearing is set for Wednesday, which would be today, for the man who assaulted Paul Pelosi. Mark Mayfield has more information.
David DePape faces charges of attempted murder, attempted kidnapping of a federal officer or employee, and assault on the immediate family member of a federal official. Pelosi suffered a fractured skull and serious injuries to his hands and arm in the attack in October. DePape has already entered a plea of not guilty. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that one as we are talking. We talk a little bit about everything, and we talk about safety in the news and safety and all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about something that's actually happening down in Colorado Springs. And we can talk about this pretty much in anywhere in the U.S., but let's talk a little bit about what the hell's going on in Colorado Springs right here. The number of pothole in Colorado Springs roads are typically higher during this time of the year. It's because the warming springs like days, and suddenly the swing back to the snow and the cold. Corey Farkas, Colorado Springs Public Work Operations Manager, wants the drivers to let them know what is going on and why the streets are in poor shape.
Pothole that has been sitting there for 2 weeks. Don't assume that somebody has called it in. Go ahead and call it in. Report that pothole because, the good chance that nobody has reported it.
Okay, warmer days are making ways for the crews to fix more potholes. The science behind the peaking number of potholes around the time is that the water from the melt during the warm days seeps under the pavement, and then it freezes and expands overnight, causing the pavement to break. Auto pros tell drivers to pay attention to steering if they have hit a pothole, and to get issues fixed sooner rather than later because it will minimize any kind of expense. Jeff Larson, owner of Larson Automotive in Tire in Pueblo, says the aftermath of potholes encounters is common during this time of year.
First thing I was to make sure that the steering wheel didn't change direction or of any abnormal driving. You could have up to a $200 repair, a $50 repair, or you can have up to a couple $1,000 repair.
Let's skip the last one. That sounds like that for sure as we are talking. So, I don't know. I don't think I've ever reported a pothole in my lifetime, and I didn't even know that was a thing. So that's, I guess it makes it a little bit more interesting. Anyways, take a listen to this. The Federal Reserve will likely raise interest rates a quarter of a point today, according to the Most Economics. NBC's Brian Chung has more.
This with inflation high, but also concerns about the banking system. And we'll see what the Federal Reserve does in terms of whether or not they raise interest rates, which would make credit cards, mortgages, auto loans very expensive for Americans.
A quarter of a point hike would put the rate at 5%, but some analysts think that they might pause the rate and hikes after a series of shocks of the banking system. The Fed has been raising rates on a regular clip in effort to stem inflation. So there you go. We'll take a look at what the hell's going on there. I'm sure we'll have more news about that at some point during today. Anyways, Los Angeles United School District is making sure the students stay fed and supervised while campuses are closed during this week's strike. The mother says that she's happy that she found recreation center for her son to spend time on Tuesday.
It was either working from home with my son at home playing video games and not having anything to do, or it was finding some pod of people that might be in the same boat.
Okay, so more than 200 district, city, and county park recreation sites have opened as a makeshift daycare center. The LAUSD also distributed more than 124,000 free meals to students on Tuesday, the first day of the strike. 24 grab-and-go sites have come across the LA County. Parents were handed 6 meals per student to cover breakfast and lunch during the 3-day strike, so that did all occur right there. Let's do one more before we get into our Maniani story here. Take a listen to this one. Brandon Johnson, who is vowing not to defund the police if elected as mayor of Chicago during the forum last night on WGN-TV. Johnson was adamant that he won't be defunding the police.
Yeah, I'm not going to defund the police. I made that very clear. What I'm going to do is make sure that we implement a smart plan. This is why I'm very much committed to making sure that we're promoting and training 200 more detectives because we have to solve crime.
Okay, Johnson also said that he would invest in the consent decree designed to reform the Chicago Police Department. Opponent Paul Valles stressed that he needs to be more proactive policing that respects people's constitutional rights. Both candidates disagree that Chicago Police Department needs a new foot chase policy. So there you go in that particular regard. So we'll talk about a little bit more about that. That is for sure. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it is time to do that thing that we do even on a Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Let's go ahead and get into the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, I turn around and I take a look at everything that is going on inside. Well, I can't really say that it's everything, but I take a look at a grand amount of stuff that's going on inside of this little world of ours and this little community of practice in this little niche market of things that we do. And taking a look around, and there seems to be more and more books on the topic of safety. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy all of that. I enjoy looking at all of that stuff and going, hey, this is some good times as we are talking about it. But I also have noticed that when these books come out, well, number one, people automatically start saying that, you know, that they are the number one bestseller on Amazon in the category that they have put the book in and all that kind of fun stuff. And listen, we can start talking about algorithms, or we can start talking about how people say, hey, listen, if you want me to come and do a speech for you, now don't pay me. I will sell you some of my books, and that will kind of give me a rating system in regards on how good the book is. But let's not get too far in the weeds here. But what I keep on looking at is some of the safety books that come out. Yes, we can say that they are repackaged with pre-existing material that other people have put out, but let's not talk about that. What I look at is some of this. What are the books that are currently out there that have inspired you? What are the books that are currently out there that you have looked at and said, I am bringing this into my organization? And by bringing this into my organization, this will change the way that we do work. I can name a few books off the top of my head that have been out at this point for years. And I'm talking about years. And they still seem to inspire the masses. I didn't say the asses. I said the masses. Still inspire the masses with the amount of content that's applicable to what is going on. And listen, I have friends inside of this space that do stuff that they're able to write a book just like that. They can go to a foreign country, sit down, be by themselves for a little bit, and write a book, which is a great thing. I have other people that I know that will take them years to write books. And I also have people that I know that will take them years to read a book, but that's neither here nor there. But as you speak today, what book has influenced you the most inside of your safety career? What book has influenced you so much as you are doing the things that you get to do? And listen, there's some pretty good ones out there. I'm not going to lie. There are books that are out there that I look at and I go, the book is so amazing on how it can change the way that you think about things. But of course, you have to read it or give it a little audio spin on Audible or something along those lines. But what book comes to mind? What book comes to mind with applicable practices that you're able to do? That's kind of a key component into the whole thing. Listen, I will still tell you one of my all-time favorite books when it comes into the space that we're here is this one right here. And if you're on the visual side, you'll see it. If not, I'll just tell you what it is. But it's this book right here by Dr. Todd Conklin. And it's the first book. It's the first book, which a lot of people think that it's pre-accident investigation. But no, it is this book right here. Simple Revolutionary Acts. Ideas to revitalize yourself and your workplace. And I will tell you that if you have not had the opportunity to take a little read of this one, this is one that you should read. It's a very short book in regards of it. It is a full 63 pages. And listen, if you want a copy of it, no problem. Go to safetyfmplus.com. That's safetyfmplus.com. And you can give a little download right there. Just go in there under the resources, go into the category, and download the book. I will tell you that if you are going through a journey of changing the way that your workplace sees things, that is the book to read or take a listen to. And you'll look at it and go, hold on. There's some things here that are common sense approach, which I always kind of chuckle when people say that. But that book is the beginning of the journey. And when you take a look at that book, and if you've ever read Pre-Accident or decide to read Pre-Accident Investigation, you'll notice that that particular book has a lot of the pillars that is going to build on to the next thing. So if you get a chance, Simple Revolutionary Acts, and if you want to give a download to it, and you can do that right now, just go to Safety FM Plus. What book comes to mind for you right now that has revolutionized the way that you look at what we do? I would love to hear, because I think that the more books that we can compile together are some of the greatest things that we can do. And I will tell you, as we are talking about this, Sam Goodman, I don't understand that man's output in regards on how he's able to come up with this, with the stuff that he comes up with. But the books that he puts out, they seem really on target in regards of some of the things that are going on inside of the world. I would pick up a couple of his too if you haven't done so already. Anyways, that's something to think about. What book inspires you?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, Go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy. And I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between, it really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You can say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. Whatever is talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Jay Allen in the morning on radio.
Gucci. We got some things we keep it on the low down. And she really likes secrets and love songs. Got some plans with a nigga she gon' lose on. I can hit it right away. Oh yeah. This life's on us. Baby,
Okay, 44 minutes past the top of the hour. This still is the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, this one right here is by Chill Winston. Gucci, featuring Big Knox. So there you go. There you go. Take a little download-y-ody, a little stream on YouTube Music, Apple Music, or Spotify. I tell you, we change this up day to day. Thanks to Chill Winston. for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. So there you go, as we are hanging and banging, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So no doubt about that, as we are talking and doing all the fun stuff here. So let's start talking about the most important thing that I will ever, and I can't even express it, ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, or you can text the word TALK to 988 or call 988. Listen, we all go through struggles sometimes. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. But there are people that are out there that you can talk to. And we can talk about this in so many different ways, forms, and formats. But it's always important that it is surrounding you in regards of the information and having it readily available. So to find out more, National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 988lifeline.org. So let's start talking about some things that are going on. If you have been taking a lookser on some things that are happening, let's talk about what is going on in the month of May with our little Safety Worlds Collide. The conference, non-conference is what it keeps on being referred to. Tickets are available now at safetyfm.io. You will see the likes of Sam Goodman, Brett Sutton, and me. Yes, all in person, happening in Phoenix, Arizona. If you want to come and hang out and do the thing over there, we will be doing it live and in living color. You can choose a day. You can choose both days if you want, or you can choose the second day and not the first day. It's all options available to you. That is May 9th and the 10th, Phoenix, Arizona. More information at safetyfm.io. So there you go. Let's talk about some other things that are going on. You know, artificial intelligence seems to be everything that has been talked about here as of recent. Possibly awesome news for AI front. Artificial intelligence has developed the treatment for cancer in just 30 days and can predict patient survival rate with an 80% accuracy. Researchers from the University of Toronto, along with the Enliso medicine, developed it with a potential treatment by the hepatocellular, so HCC, common for liver cancer, using the platform called Pharma AI without getting too technical on you. It was able to come up with the previously unknown treatment pathway for cancer, plus the creation of potential drug that was accomplished in just 30 days by synthesizing just about 7 compounds. AI is rapidly changing the way that drugs and medicines are discovered and developed. And the traditional method of trial and error is slow, expensive, and limits the scope of exploration. See, it can be beaten. It beats the heck out of using AI to take newscasters' jobs like we learned about yesterday. So there you go. Yeah, because we talked about the AI that actually is 24/7 that is available. But I want you to think about this in regards of how much we talk about AI as of recent and all the things that it can do. Imagine all the stuff that it can do to help. I'm still waiting for you to get the plug inside of your head via similar, like Neo from the Matrix. I'm talking about the original Matrix, not the latest one that came out, where you can just have a plug and get everything inserted right away, information-wise. I mean, life would be a lot more simpler.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I mean, I don't believe I'm talking out of school by saying that. I'm just saying. Anyways, let's talk real quick. The UCLA men and women's basketball team are both on their way to Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament, and a pair of siblings from Venture County are gaining national attention Daniel Martindale shares.
Camarillo natives Jaime and Gabriela Jaquez have already made history. The Bruins basketball stars are the first brother-sister duo to reach the round of 16 in March Madness for the same school in the same year ever. The senior Jaime and the UCLA men will face Gonzaga on Thursday. The freshman Gabriela and the UCLA women take on top-seeded South Carolina on Saturday. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that information right there. Take a listen to this. A New Mexico mother is asking for help after her car was stolen from the Brent's Place parking in Aurora. Deborah Griego traveled to Colorado for her 20-month-old could receive life-saving medical care at the Children's Hospital in Colorado.
I always get up early, go check on my daughter through the night. She's 20 months old, needs a heart transplant, and when I walked out, my car wasn't here.
Griego's daughter, Crystal, has been in the hospital since December and has been on the heart of the heart transplant list since January. The mother of two is having her car stolen is the least of her worries. The sentimental items inside of the car, like handmade toys for Crystal that Griego wants back. Security video shows two men walked up to a 2016 gray Kia Sorento at 1:30 a.m. Monday at Brent's Place, which provides housing to families in need of life-saving medical care. No suspects have been found, but anyone with information is encouraged to call the Aurora Police Department. New Mexico mother Deborah Griego says that her family is enduring a difficult time, but she believes things are going to get better.
She got her first surgery at 4 days old. It's hard, but every day we continue to say that we have hope that God does miracles and that one day she'll make it through this all.
Okay, so God works in a mysterious way, according to Deborah Griego. So there you go. There's some information for you. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time for us to feel a little bit motivated on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday. So let's go ahead and bring some John Small inside of here and let him tell you about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Bev. Robert Collier said, "Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out." I love that. So many times when we think about the things that, just work out and we try to figure out why, what was it that got that person to buy something from you today? Was it something you did today? Or was it something that you did every day for a month or two or maybe even a year that finally led up to today? The process is more intricate than we'll ever even know. We make hundreds or maybe thousands of small decisions every single day. These little decisions can all be altered by influences around us. Something can make you turn right instead of left, and that turn could lead to a car crash, or it might help you avoid one. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. One of the biggest longitudinal studies of happiness was conducted in Harvard. And unsurprisingly, one of the important ways to increase our levels of genuine happiness is quality social connection. Quality social connection falls into a number of different categories, including romantic connection, friendship, or daily superficial interaction. What is surprising is that superficial interactions are extremely important. Normally, when we hear quality social connection, most of us think about deep conversations. But it's very clear from the research that oftentimes, although of course not always, our conversations with people that we are closest to are actually trivial. In fact, it is often a sharing of the trivial day-to-day things between people that lead to feelings of connection, especially if it involves shared experience. For more information on wellness, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, there you go. 53 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out on this marvelous Whip 'em Out Wednesday, because, yep, that's what happens on Wednesdays around here. Anyways, let's talk real quick about some things that happened back on this date, because that's what we need to do. So taking a look around, let's go back to 2007. News Corp and NBC Universal inked a streaming deal that would later spawn off Hulu. NBC has been putting together content on YouTube, was not able to effectively monetize it. Realizing the need for a business model that would allow easy access to the network programming online while still generating profit, network executives were looking for ways to achieve old programs or archive old programs and post new ones online. The result was Hulu, which was first had free access with occasional ads and later a premium membership that included extensive backlog to many TV shows. That happened back in 2007. Anyways, taking a look around at some birthdays that are going on today. Nick Robinson turns 28. Dax turns 29. J.J. Watts, 34. DJ Moore, 36. Dave Porcher, 46. Reese Witherspoon, yes, that Reese Witherspoon, she turns 47 today. Keegan Michael Kay turns 52. Rick Harrison, 58. Matthew Modine turns 64. Andrew Lloyd Webber, 75. James Patterson turns 76. And William Shatner, oh, good old William Shatner, he turns 92 today. So there you go. Some things right there. Anyways, if you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. As Young as You Feel Day, Bavarian Krebs Day, National Goof Off Day. Hold on, I thought that was every day. Apparently, there's a specialized day for that. I did not know that. World Water Day, and Gindefor Pride Day, whatever the hell that means. Apparently, it means something to someone. So there you go. Anyways, taking a look around, let's talk about Did You Know real quick. A cotton grocery tote could be used at least 7,100 times to make it more truly environmental friendly alternative to traditional plastic bags, according to an estimate commissioned by the government of Denmark. At a rate of once per week, that means that the reusable bag would take over 136 years of use to make it worthwhile. At the very least, this info serves as a reminder that we should be mindful on how often we are buying reusable bags and consider donating extras and then using the other ones for other purposes, which might help reduce the environmental impact. So there you go. Some stuff that you probably weren't thinking about today, and I sure as shit wasn't thinking about it until right now. Let's talk about some whack facts. While spring always falls on either March the 19th, 20th, or 21st, it hasn't arrived on March 21st since 2007 and won't arrive again for another 82 years, which will be 2103. The earliest pacemaker required a wall outlet. Women cry on average between 30 to 64 times a year. Men cry on average 6 to 17 times a year. Kissing someone is more sanitary than shaking hands if you want to avoid a cold. I wonder if that's an option to go around to smooching people, that's for sure. In Italy, there is a fountain that flows red wine 24 hours a day. It's free to everyone except for drunkards and loots. So there you go. Think about that the next time you're in Italy. So here you go. If you need a random joke for today, I admit I live in the past, but only because housing is so much cheaper there. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What would it say if the last text message you sent was written on your headstone? Think about that one. That could be a little bit scary. And if you need a question for the water cooler, you can try this. This is the item that people are most likely to buy in the wrong size. What is it? I have so many things that I could say there, but the actual answer is gloves. It's gloves. People buy that quite often in the wrong size. So anyway, with that being said, that's going to sum up our time together. If you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, you can go to radiobig.fm, where I will be hanging out doing the music side of this. If not, you can hang out on Safety FM, where Sheldon Primus will be coming in and doing the Safety Consultant podcast, radio show, whatever the hell you want to deem it. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are talking. What do you think? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it does not make a lot of sense to do this. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, it would sound something like this. Setting a goal is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Setting a goal is the first step of turning the invisible into the visible. Think about that today. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.